It's Week 15 of the National Football League, and we'll see this team's creative quarterback. He's going to have to air it out plenty this week. We can hardly wait for the start of this one on EA Sports.
With a winter chill gripping much of the nation, no such worries today here in the Sunshine State and Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville.
Alongside my partner, Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, you look at this Jaguar team. They come in feeling good after back-to-back victories. On the other side of the field for our visitors here, they've been flawless all year long as they hit the home stretch at 13-0.
And now they just have to guard against complacency. You still got to go out and earn it every week.
The punter Logan Cook set to start the proceedings, and we are underway here in Jacksonville.
And a big mistake on the return. He's out of bounds at his own 1-yard line. So out comes the offense now with a long field ahead of them. And they'll be let out by their quarterback now in his 3rd season in the league.
And it felt like in watching the game tape, he got everyone involved last week.
He was a manager.
He really was. That's a great way to put it because they ran the ball some, they threw it accurately. 1 touchdown pass, so he didn't, break the bank doing that, but he didn't throw any interceptions. That's the bottom line. That's why a defense loves a quarterback like that. Doesn't put them in bad situations.
And he's taken down, but able to get this up to the 20-yard line. An excellent way to start the drive there, 18 yards.
But that was definitely a surprise there. Handed to the big guy on 1st down. Heck, the first play of the drive. And when you see him get to the 2nd level, as a former safety, I can just tell you, your eyes get really wide because you know you've got a lot to deal with at that point.
So the previous play, a big help, as now they'll have it 1st and 10 up at the 20. And again, they'll go right back to their fullback. And he'll be tackled at the 23 after a gain of 3.
Good solid gain on 1st down, about what you'd expect from the big guy carrying the ball.
On the give, this is their fullback. Running right through him. And they work this well upfield across the 45. 25 yards the pickup there, and also a 1st down.
All I remember from my experience as a defender, when the big fella gets the football, you've got to get on him early before he gets a chance to get up ahead of steam, because once he does that, he's going to leave a lot of tacklers in his wake.
5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on 1st down. Clock running, a minute to go in a scoreless 1st quarter. They've gone to their fullback quite a bit. He'll get it again. And he'll get this down only to about the 46.
In search of 4 yards here to pick up the 1st down.
A give to the fullback on the dive. Oh, he bowls over him. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done.
And hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who was shaken up. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside.
All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. They'll run it here. This is their fullback getting the carry. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up 2nd down. Now a carry here for their fullback. Pushes him over. And running with power here. And he'll take it into the end zone for a touchdown. It's the fullback.
His 8th rushing touchdown on the year.
And this offense takes the ball down the field and scores on their opening drive. Point after try forthcoming. It's up and good, and it'll give his guys a 7-0 lead. So that drive takes them down the field in 8 plays. And a long run there in the end to top it off. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away.
And he returns this to the 22. So here come the Jaguars to take over for the first time behind Trevor Lawrence, their quarterback in season number 4.
And you and I both know that any win is a good win, and that's what they did last week. But there's also plenty for him to work on in his game, wasn't there?
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, an
Had the
interception. Yeah, you know, he wants to increase that a little bit in terms of ratio. But first and foremost, they did win the game.
And they'll run the option to start the drive.
And right away, he lost the football.
One of the linebackers has got it.
And they take possession of the football and have it at the 36-yard line.
Problems there on the option and a costly turnover.
Yeah, partner, you know how we watch practice sometimes and we see those drills where the quarterback's running with the football and they're swinging pads at him and the brooms are out and they're trying to poke at the football for ball security? I have a feeling next week there'll be an extra session of that each and every day.
And they'll come out with a 3 tight end look on the first play of the drive.
They'll try and run with their fullback. And they're able to get this one past the 30 to the 25-yard line.
After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Ready for the second quarter, and it's our visitors with the football as they've got it with a 1st and 10.
And they'll run it here. And he will take this one in for a touchdown. A great play there with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half. And his guys are going to add on to their lead. Week after week, Charles, when we see this offense operate, I don't know, they just seem to get more impressive.
They certainly do, and let's face it, it's no surprise they're the best in the NFL in scoring. This team designs things well and executes even better. And here, it only takes a few snaps before they're in the end zone. That's how they demoralize teams. That's how they put them on notice.
The extra point splits the uprights, and it's now 14-0. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
And he'll get it up just past the 20 as his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line. The Jaguars offense, led by their running back, headed out for the 2nd possession. And as we check out the NFL leaders in rushing touchdowns coming into the weekend, see a familiar name there near the top of the leaderboard, currently 2nd in that category. The Jacksonville offense set to begin their next drive. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. Lawrence hit and the ball is free. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it.
Okay, after those first 2 drives, I think there's a head coach who's going to be calling for CSI. They're going to want some forensics on this. What is going on with this ball club? Unable to hold on to the football and take care of it.
Yeah, 2 straight fumbles for them to start out.
Yeah, you would think that this team would come in ready to go. Sometimes just mentally not prepared, and it shows up in these types of plays.
The defense gets him the ball via the turnover. Now can this offense cash in? 1st and goal. And they'll go on the ground. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. A great effort there. On his way to a monster game, 3 first-half touchdowns, as his guys are able to push that lead out a bit further.
Well, fans of old-school football, they got to be loving this, partner. All 3 drives so far have ended in a touchdown, and all 3 on the ground.
And when you say fans of old-school football, count me in, because you just don't see ground games dominate the scoring by pounding the rock like this anymore. To me, this is refreshing.
Extra point right down the middle, and it's now 21-0. A nice, tidy little drive there, getting the ball in excellent field position, and only 1 play to score it. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away.
And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line.
Here comes the Jaguars offense as they get set to go again.
And Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, and this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least 1 practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
Lawrence will throw.
Flush to, and this turns into disaster. He's not going to get forward progress. That'll be a safety.
Right now, they're just trying to get to halftime because they need a break. This game is lacking in every way, and they just got driven backwards for a safety.
So a free kick situation forthcoming from the 20 as they'll punt this one away. This is taken around the 12.
The visitors' offense and their running back getting ready to go back to work. Now, he's had a knack for finding the end zone all season long. His numbers reflect that. Here we are in the month of December, and he sits atop the NFL leaderboard in terms of rushing touchdowns. There he goes up the right sideline. He's got a full head of steam on his horse.
Escapes the defender. Touchdown! A big play there. On his way to a historic performance, 4 first-half touchdowns. And this offense is running away with this one.
Boy, Charles, this offense is just so explosive. They lead the league in scoring, and another example of just how good they are right there on that play.
Yeah, we often overstate about how explosive teams are, but this team is truly a threat to score on every snap, especially on the first few plays of any series. And a big strike like that only adds to their reputation as the league's best offense.
Those are the ones the offensive coordinators dream about. 1-play drives from that distance. What an effort. It results in the touchdown. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away.
And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line. The Jaguars ready to go on offense for the final time in this first half.
And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
He'll get this into the hands of the wideout from LSU.
11 yards there for Jacksonville and a first down as well.
And the Jaguars first down.
Let's go.
First and 10 at the 35-yard line.
Now Lawrence. They'll try and set up the screen to ETN.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. Now the Jags will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 14 seconds to go in this first half.
Now Lawrence to throw.
And he can't escape, and down he goes. Now a timeout signaled for, and they'll get it with 10 seconds to go before halftime.
Here's Lawrence to throw. The throw here right sideline falls incomplete.
Well, congratulations to them. They come through defensively with another stop. And let's face it, this secondary, they've gone unchallenged so far in the first half.
The pressure gets to Lawrence, and he'll go down.
And they're going to take a timeout defensively. So with 4th down coming up, they go ahead and burn it and say we'll see what happens.
Final play of the half. It's Lawrence.
And he's going to go down. Couldn't get a throw off with the pressure. Maybe that was for the best, as that brings us to the end of this first half of play. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we send you a couple hours south of here to Orlando, that's where we check in with a coach and our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, Brandon, time for a sprint to the finish, as it's time to get you caught up with what's happening around the NFL here in a pivotal Week 15. We'll get started out in Texas, NRG Stadium in Houston. And it's the Dolphins who are out in front in the second quarter. Odell Beckham, a touchdown reception. From there, it's off to the land to check on the Browns at home in the dog pound. And they've gone to the half, all even at 14 apiece. Finally, let's get to the country music capital of the world and see what's happening with the Titans at home in Nashville. As you can see the score there in the second quarter. Jamar Chase, a touchdown reception. The highlights from the first half, all one-sided. This one got out of hand early, and now you have to wonder how these teams will approach this second half, because this one's already close to being in the bag if it's not already. Final adjustments being made for the second half. Whether they'll amount to much in a game that's already pretty well decided, well, that's another question. Nevertheless, let's get you back out to Brandon and Charles.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3.
And he won't quite make it to the 25. The Jaguars offense and Trevor Lawrence getting set for this next drive. And it's been a struggle for him all afternoon. This defense has really done a nice job of making him earn everything he gets, and it's prevented him from getting into any kind of rhythm here today.
Jaguars come to the line to start their next drive. And that first half, one to forget really on both sides of the ball. They got to find some way to string something together here, don't they?
Yeah, they're down big right now. So as you mentioned, trying to find something to string together, get some consistency, something sustained, maybe calm their whole team down and find a way to get back in this one.
Yeah, because right now you're down big, you're being shut out. Let's see if this is the drive that kind of kickstarts them.
First and 10 at the 36-yard line.
Here's Lawrence. ETN bringing in another one.
No gain, and it's second down.
That's a nice job defensively to make sure everyone was accounted for, because ordinarily you pick up the guys downfield and sometimes you forget about the running back. In this case, they did not and dropped him for no gain.
Eluding the pressure right. 6 yards there off the scramble, but it'll still leave him with a third down.
The plan was clearly to challenge them by sending a blitz on second down, but even the extra guys couldn't catch him in the backfield, though. He doesn't scramble for a first, but he does get the last laugh by evading the blitz and getting...
The pressure gets to Lawrence, and he'll go down.
Now a timeout called for by the defense. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter.
The Cook now on to punt as he gets this one away.
He's going to field this at the 4. Call that one an even 60 yards, 6-0. And the offense will come back out deep in their own territory.
The visitors' offense and their running back getting set for this next possession. And here we are in the month of December with his name sitting atop the leaders in rushing yards as the season nears its end. Strong finish here in the final stretch of games could earn him the crown.
Could not have thrown that out there any better. When the ball hit the ground, I thought it might go into the end zone the way it was angling, but perfectly jutting out at the 1.
You think maybe what we saw in practice came into play there? You know how you put those big cans down on the sideline and angled for them and shot for them? Looks like it worked out pretty well for him, too.
And he's got his man out of the backfield. That's complete.
Still going.
And brought down across the 50 to the 49-yard line. A big play there on the catch and run. 51 yards.
They made that way too easy for them. No one is supposed to be that open against an NFL defense. Once he caught the ball, there wasn't anybody close enough to stop him. And he was able to continue downfield after making the catch.
So forget about being backed up. Here's a 1st and 10 all the way across midfield. He'll look to throw. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back. Complete. Past the 20. And he's brought down after a very nice gain.
26 big yards on that one. It's another 1st down.
Results in a 1st down.
So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material.
Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back. Complete. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. Add the gain here to the previous play, and it's better than 40 yards total. Now a timeout called for by the offense. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. And they'll turn to the power game to try to get in. And he'll be taken down after a minimal pickup, and that will take us to the end of quarter number 3. We're off to the 4th quarter here in Week 15. Happy holidays to all. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Jacksonville, as we're about ready to rock and roll for the 4th and final quarter. Second and 1. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Well, business as usual for them. Well on their way to another victory. Riding a serious wave of momentum from what we've seen. And so far, they haven't met their match. So if you're going to play this team in the future, your mission is clear. You better be ready to play and match their firepower.
Now the try here for the point after. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. 5 plays there on that drive. And it ends with a 1-yard touchdown run. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away.
And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26. The Jaguars back with it on offense. And they have had their problems moving the ball through the air as we take you through some of the action from earlier. This secondary has played about as well as you can. Many times they've left this quarterback with nowhere to go with the football. The Jacksonville offense set to begin their next drive. Facing a big 4th quarter deficit here, things not looking good. You know, this offense, though, they've been in the top half of the NFL so far this season, but in this one, well, their defense has really struggled.
A short throw to Ingram. It'll be a gain of just a yard, and that's going to bring up second down.
And he has now hit number 500. Charles, that is his 500th NFL career catch.
Definitely worthy of applause, but I remember when 500 meant you were going to the Hall of Fame. Nowadays, in today's football, 500 puts you on the path, a significant number.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
The pressure gets to Lawrence, and he'll go down.
It'll be a loss of 8 on the sack, and it's going to lead him to fourth down.
Guys with his talent in the pocket aren't supposed to be getting hit like this, and you know an intense conversation with the offensive line is going to occur after this one. Might not be from him, but the offensive line coach will have plenty to say about this game.
Here's Logan Cook now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. This is brought in at the 21. A big kick there. We'll call it 56 yards on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over.
And now this offense comes back out onto the field. Things have certainly gone their way in this one, largely thanks to the efforts of their running game. As we scroll through some of these highlights, this has been a masterclass on how to run the football.
Brandon, you're never quite sure what the side judge or the field judge is going to rule there. That was awfully close, but in the end, he says it passed over the 1 yard line, and that's where they're going to mark it out. I mean, you can see it right there, right? See him walking up the sideline? Told him to stop right there at the 1.
And some space here.
There he goes again. He's got a full head of steam. The race is on.
And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Another touchdown here in the fourth quarter. And, Charles, I think we can start to consider that this undefeated streak of theirs is going to be safe for another week.
And, partner, you don't make it this far into a season without a loss unless you're getting contributions from both sides of the ball and sometimes even your special teams. And that's been true today. Each side helping guide them to this late lead.
Point after, right down the middle. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go.
Well, I think that the folks here had hoped that maybe this home atmosphere would carry their guys to a surprise victory, but it does not appear that that's going to be the case. There's too much to handle on the other side in this one.
Under pressure, and down he goes. He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up second down.
Well, someone's closing in on the league lead in sacks. He came into the game in the top 5. Now you add 2 more to his total.
Looking to throw, Lawrence.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it.
And that might just cement it. A return for a late touchdown. So the big fella gets on the scoreboard with a return for a touchdown. Good thing he didn't have to go too far, though.
You know the trainers were very happy about that. Imagine having to go get him in the end zone, escort him to the bench, and give him the oxygen. They were loving the fact that he got in without having to run very far.
Extra point attempt to follow here. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there, grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. And you can bet they're preaching two hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return.
And he's going to be stopped cold. Good coverage there by the kick team to bring that return to an abrupt halt. Jacksonville back on offense and ready to take over. Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the fourth quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while, but everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
Now a 2nd and 10. Now Lawrence.
In trouble, and he's taken down.
Multiple defenders getting to him there for a huge loss.
Now the defense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. Now a desperation throw deep downfield.
Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted.
Dances by him. And a great return here gets us one all the way down to the 26-yard line. Yet another mistake after the interception there. And, gosh, you look up at the scoreboard. They just got to be thinking this one cannot get over fast enough.
It certainly can't. And also what happens when you get this big of a deficit, you're supposed to make all the right throws, right? You're supposed to try and obviously get the ball to your own guys. But being down this big, you also take even more chances. And in this situation, that hasn't paid off for them at all.
On the other sideline, jubilation and laughter. And they'll go with a ground attack here. And he takes it in for the score on the game's final play, so it doesn't affect the outcome, but a little whipped cream on top to their ending.
Or as our friends in Bayou Country would say, that's a little lagniappe, a little extra on top. One of the fun parts about working with you is that we've learned that there are different ways to do things than the way we were brought up to do them. This is Madden. Of course they were going to go ahead and get another score. What do you mean take a knee?
And that just makes the final margin even more lopsided. I think they earned themselves a cold drink from the fridge, right?
There's no
Maybe
doubt
some
about
pretzels, too, some hummus. Go crazy.
See, we've learned.
Go crazy.
We have learned the Madden way of doing things.
For the winning team here, Charles, that's about as big and clean of a win as you could hope for in the National Football League. No turnovers. Meanwhile, you forced turnovers. You didn't allow any points, and you put up a bunch of points. What an effort.
And, Brandon, I just have to ask you, that's all the stuff that we saw happen today. Those are statistics, numbers, the whole deal. But my question is, how does one team come ready to play, and the other one, obviously, not ready at all?
Well, I mean, I obviously don't have an answer to that, but that was the story from the get-go. One side was awake and ready, and the other just seemed asleep.
So for our visitors, they move ever closer to the perfect regular season as they run things to 14-0, and they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for the Jaguars, their slim playoff hopes are gone now as they fall to 5-9, and they will try to get back in the swing of things next week on the road.